Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my review slash discussion of Singles Inferno Season 2. The first episode I uploaded, I'll post a link in the description box so you can check that out if you haven't already. That was talking about episodes 1 to 6, so today's is part 2 and we're going to be talking about episodes 7 to 10 and the finale and the aftermath of the finale as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. I've done all my base makeup and my brows because I wanted to try something a little bit different today. I actually ordered in some face jewels that I'm interested in trying out. So yeah, let's just jump in. Okay, so just to recap on what the end of episode 6 was all about. The two newcomers, Sejun and Minsu, they get to pick who they would like to go to paradise. I remember at the end of episode 6, I shouldn't say that I predicted that Sejun would pick Soi, but I did say that I hoped he would pick Soi, so I don't know if that counts as a prediction, probably not. But I had no idea who Minsu would pick, because at the start of episode 7, it actually shows a bit of a montage of footage of the two newcomers getting to know everyone, just sort of like one-on-one, having one-on-one chats with everybody. And yeah, and they were all saying, oh, he seemed to be attracted to Nadine and blah, blah, blah. And so when he picked Soi, a lot of the girls seemed surprised, but I wasn't surprised at all. I feel like on this show, the first person you're initially attracted to seems to be the one you tend to stick to. Yeah, at least, yeah, that's just my opinion. So I wasn't surprised at all that he picked her. Minsu picked Jin Young. And I'm trying to think, has Jin Young even spent a proper night on Inferno? Probably not. Like, it's probably the last night he spends there. Everyone just like takes him to, he either, you know, just picks well, or he wins a competition, or yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's spent a single night on Inferno. He's always spent it in paradise. We learned that Minsu is the CEO of an online clothing store. She styles the clothes as well as models them. She's 26. Soi is 23 and a theatre and film major. She loves acting. Sejun is a tailor. In fact, he worked at Jin Taek's store. Jin Taek was in season 1 of Singles Inferno. He owned a tailoring business, and yeah, Sejun works there. And they show a clip that was used in season 1 when they were introducing Jin Taek's like career and everything. And he like walks in, he shakes hands with the first employee that he sees, and it was Sejun, and he had long hair. Which looked kind of cool on him. I kind of wish they showed more footage of him with his long hair. Sejun is 27, and yeah, they get along well. In fact, after like watching these last 4 episodes, I actually jumped onto YouTube and I watched a scene that didn't make it to the episode. It was they end up going for a swim in the pool together, and I felt like it was a really kind of nice moment between them. That I kind of wish made it onto the show, but you can hop onto YouTube and check it all out for yourselves. Back on Inferno, the rest of the singles play a questions game to find out how some of them are feeling. Nadine says she is interested in someone and is wondering if they are curious about her. Sulki hints that there is someone on Inferno she is curious about. I get the vibe that she's torn between Jin Young and Jungwoo. I feel like with Sulki, she's got these two very different guys interested in her. One of them seems like is very flirtatious in my opinion, and that's Jin Young. The other, which isn't a bad thing, mind you, but I feel like he has that naturally flirtatious vibe, and it's like whenever he talks to a woman, he just seems to like flirt a little bit. I don't know. I think he just has those that sort of like player type of vibe. He's probably not like that at all. That's just what I get from him. Whereas Jungwoo he seems like more serious, more one-on-one. I don't know if this is the right word, but intimate, I suppose. He's very deep as well. So I think that's why Jin Young sort of has this like bad boy reputation, but I honestly don't think it's his fault or anything. It's just sort of the way he carries himself, the way he presents himself. It could also be the editing as well. I feel like in terms of he just doesn't strike me as somebody who can seriously talk about his feelings, because he has that sort of like natural flirtatious vibe. But again, I think like 90% of that could be the edit. Having said that though, some of the contestants have given feedback afterwards. I can't quite remember which contestant it was. I think it might have been CLIO, I'm not 100% sure. But she posted on Instagram, I think it was a group photo of all of them, and she just sort of said, oh, that it was an amazing experience, and she thanked the editors for keeping everyone true to how they actually are, and that everyone got a pretty genuine edit of how they are in real life. But I'm going on the opinion of just one person, so I haven't really looked into the other contestants' opinions on whether or not they feel they were accurately represented in the edit, so it's hard to say. The two couples come back from Paradise. Zoe is wearing Sejun's blazer and she looks adorable in it. It's oversized, she just looks so cute. There's another competition, this time between the girls. They pair up and do Korean wrestling. If any body part above the knee touches the ground, you lose. To decide who comes first, second and third amongst the three winners between the pairs, they go by how quickly each won their round. Zoe, Minsu and Nadine win. Zoe came first, Minsu second and Nadine third. So Zoe has first choice in whoever she would like to go to Paradise with. So a lot of people think she was going to choose Yoonjae, particularly the hosts, I guess just to find out more about him. And he also did allude to the fact that he would like to get to know her in a place like Paradise where they can talk about their ages and professions. But she ends up choosing Hanbin, which I thought was fantastic. Like these two people, like they don't have romantic feelings for each other, but I thought it was great how she sort of like took him there as a friend and to, I don't know, I guess say thank you and just talk about how they're feeling. And yeah, I think it's a great friendship that they formed. Yeah, I kind of wish there were more friendships had formed between some of the other people on the show, but I just love that they have a friendship out of this. Minsu picks Jin Young and Nadine picks Yoonjae. So I thought it was interesting that Minsu picks Jin Young. I suppose she is a one-man woman, which I can get behind, but I get the vibes that she kind of knew that there was something there between him and CLIO. I know if it was me, I would probably try to get with the person I got along with second best and just take it as an opportunity to get to know them, get to know that person, because you've already been to Paradise with one person, you might as well try to get to know more people. Like, she's got such a short amount of time. Then again, she does point out the fact that they have such a small amount of time, so she does want to focus on the person she connects with the most. So I guess I can sort of understand both sides, and I definitely understand why later on she looked quite upset, because yeah, you're sort of thrown into this type of dating show like halfway in when all the other contestants have gotten to know each other. Yeah, so it's definitely not an enviable position. Zoe and Hanbin talk. Hanbin said everyone was really happy that she got to go to Paradise and the boys all clapped. I thought that was adorable. Zoe says she thought she might have been thinking about Yoonjae while she was with Sejun, but that wasn't the case. She tells Hanbin that he's naturally well-mannered, not just around Sejun, and she's grateful for that. Nadine talks to Yoonjae about Jin Young, says she's curious about him and would like to go to Paradise with him. Yoonjae knew Nadine isn't interested in that way. I mean, when you're given the third choice, I mean, she took someone I guess she hadn't really spent that much time like talking to, so I think that's kind of cool. Minsu and Jin Young talk about the first impressions of each other. He says he feels comfortable around her, however he says that he prefers feeling a bit uncomfortable when he's around a lady that he's interested in. I'm guessing that's what he was implying. He said he hinted earlier that he wanted to talk to more people to let her know he wasn't fully interested in her. I think he was trying to let her down gently. He is grateful she picked him again for Paradise, but he wants to be honest with her about how he's feeling. Minsu says she doesn't want to take another person to Paradise just because Jin Young might not be interested in her. Instead, she'd like to make happy memories during her time there. So, yeah, I can get behind that. The remaining singles on Inferno set off fireworks and light sparklers. Sejun says he's still interested in Zoe. He said he's okay with her going to paradise with someone else. Later on, he would tell her that if she had picked him, he would have felt like she only did it as a thank you for taking her to paradise for the first time. This will come up later in episode 9, I should add. Silky seems torn between Jongwoo and Jinyoung. Silky tells Seyun and Sejong that things will be clearer when he gets back from paradise. The morning comes, Silky welcomes Jeong back, then goes for a walk with Jongwoo. Jinyoung says to Youngjae that he can't see a gap that he can fit into between them. They watch them as they're walking away. Jongwoo is straightforward with Silky, lets her know he's very interested in her, but at the same time he doesn't want to put pressure on her. He's considerate of her and the fact she might want to talk to other people, so he leaves when Jinyoung comes to talk with her, which I thought was lovely, because he doesn't want to like crowd her or anything. He's like letting her know that he's interested, but also giving her space. So yeah, it's really nice that how considerate he is. Jinyoung's conversations with Silky seem to be lighthearted, not deep like Jongwoo. Jinyoung has a laid-back, effortless charm to him. To me, he kind of beats around the bush rather than getting straight to the point. He's basically the opposite of Jongwoo. I find it interesting that Silky is drawn to two very different people. Jongwoo and Dongwoo chat. Oh, this next part was probably one of the funniest parts of the show in my opinion. All the boys are hanging out in the tent. Jongwoo and Dongwoo are chatting. Dongwoo asks if one of them goes to Inferno, they agree that the remaining one of them gets to talk to Silky before they leave for paradise. Jongwoo agrees, and Jinyoung tries to get them to repeat what they said. And then Dongwoo says that it's fine that he didn't hear them. They all laugh. Youngjae says, I can't be here, it's too scary. Sejun says, if you're going to be like this, I'll just go to the women's tent. Fair enough. I would too. Okay, so similar to season 1, the final men's competition is the wrestling circle. If a competitor's lower body, both legs I should say, are outside of the ring, they are eliminated. Sejun is out first, then Dongwoo and Hanbin. So when I saw that the final 3 were Youngjae, Jongwoo and Jinyoung, I knew that Youngjae was just going to hang back because, you know, you've got 2 men who are sort of vying for the same woman and Youngjae who's interested in someone else entirely. So he does hang back at the start and just sort of lets the other 2 duke it out. At the same time, though, it eventually gets to the point where, because the 3 men, like this, I feel like this wrestling match was longer than season 1, or it felt longer. So I reckon all 3 blokes were probably just completely worn out at this stage. And at that stage, it's going to take 2 of you to throw someone out of the ring. I imagine it must be very difficult using your own body strength to throw one competitor out of the ring. So it gets to the point where I wonder if Youngjae probably thought to himself, look, I'm most likely going to win, but at the same time, I can't let these 2 guys just duke it out because we're going to be here all day. So he does sort of like help. He essentially kind of throws them both. Well, he doesn't really throw them both out because he just knew that these 2 guys were going to be like going at it. So when they get to the edge of the ring, I think he pretty much just like lifts up both their legs and tosses them both out. If I'm remembering the wrestling match accurately, and I'm probably not, he's probably like, you know what, let's just end this already. We all knew that Youngjae was going to finish first. Like we only cared about who was going to finish first out of Jinyoung and Jongwoo, and they literally had to go back through the footage in slow-mo and then look at each frame to see that both of Jinyoung's legs were outside of the ring first, but by a hair. It looked like Jongwoo strategically had one foot still like kind of hovering over the ring. I think he must, and I reckon he contorted his body in a way so that he was able to do that because well, not contorted, but you know, like he angled his body in that way, like determined to like try to still have a foot in the ring, and it worked. Yeah, so no surprise here that Youngjae ends up picking Seyun, because they've just had chemistry from pretty much day one. Jungwoo picks Sulki and Jin Young chooses Nadine. But before they go to Paradise, Jin Young knew that Jungwoo was going to take Sulki, so he takes her aside and he has a chat with her. And he and he says that, I feel like you and I had some kind of impact. The other girls had said earlier to Sulki that Jin Young had said that his first, his first trip to Paradise with Minsu was impactful. So when he's saying to her, I feel like you and I made an impact, she's saying like, but you've already said that about someone else. Like, that kind of means, you know, that I'm not that important to you if you're going to just use the same words to describe me as you did this other girl. And you can see the frustration on her face. Yeah, like, it sort of goes by what I've been saying. Like, I just feel like he's not as serious as some of the other men on the island, but that's just me. So 3 couples are now in Paradise. Yoonjae tells Seyun he feels he made the right choice. And even though it was risky, it was worth it. Risky as in just like pursuing one person from day one. Nadine looks happy to be eating dinner with Jin Young. Nadine says she is a pre-med student and then going to grad school for med. She's majoring in studying the brain. I think I got muddled up and thought that she was studying to be a plastic surgeon or a surgeon of some kind, like Dongwoo, so sorry about that. She thinks it's awesome that Jin Young was part of the UDT. They have a lot of similar interests as well. They talk about motorbikes and all sorts of other things. We learn Jungwoo is a barista and his family own a famous coffee shop in Gangwon-do. I'm really sorry if I butchered that. They make sweet corn coffee. Sulki says she knows the place, and I think she even follows the cafe on Instagram. We find out that Jungwoo is 25, just like her. Jungwoo reveals he brought the Polaroid camera from Inferno, but he forgot to put a roll of film in it. That was funny. So Jin Young tells Nadine that he was really curious about her and wanted to know what she did for a living. And that's why he wanted to take her to Paradise. I'm so sorry, I'm trying to talk and do my eyeliner at the same time. It's really hard. Yeah, and Paradise is the only place they can talk about professions. However, he does say if he had have come second in the wrestling challenge, he would have picked Sulki to go to Paradise with and not her. And you just see this like look on Nadine's face, like, because, you know, Nadine is not a silver medal, you know, like that's, I mean, appreciate his honesty, I guess, but also, you know, of course imagine not getting you know, of course your feelings are going to be hurt if someone says that to you. My eyeline's probably not even at all. This is really hard. You know what, I'm going to leave it and I'll just go back to my eyeliner later on if it needs fixing. Right now I need to get some jewels on my face. Nadine goes on to say that she knows her schooling would mean she'd be spending less time with a significant other if she was in a relationship. But she feels it would make the time spent together more meaningful. Jin Young goes quiet and it made me wonder if he doesn't agree with that. You know, he might not like the idea of a long distance relationship. The hosts think he's conflicted, so they think differently the way that I do. Like, I personally don't think he's conflicted. I think he knows that while he likes Nadine, gets along with her, I think there are a few deal breakers there. Jungwoo and Sulki go for a swim. They agree to follow their hearts. Back on Inferno, Sejun says to Soe that she gives him comfort. He also just wants her to be happy. They have a really cute chat. Soe, like side note, Soe has gone on to be probably one of my favourite contestants on the show. I'll admit at the start it was Sulki, but I think Soe ended up becoming my favourite. Back in Paradise, we see that Yoonjae and Seyun were up all night talking. I think they were up until like 5 a.m. or something. Okay, they all come back to Inferno. They have the rest of the day to go on dates, as in have one-on-one conversations with people they're interested in before the decision tomorrow. This is the last day when they can do this. They need to make the most of it. Jin Young immediately goes to Sulki. They go and fetch water together. She says she wanted Jungwoo to win the wrestling match, however her eyes were on Jin Young most of the time. Dongwoo then takes Sulky aside for a conversation. He hints that he will choose her, but understands if she doesn't choose him. He wants her to be happy. She wants the same for him. Minsu talks to Jin Young. She says no matter what happens, she had a good time and she enjoyed the time she spent with him. Hanbin talks to Seyoon. He says he wants her to be happy even if it feels complicated. She says she had fun thanks to him. I think she is saying that she likes him as a friend and perhaps even wants to continue a friendship with him. Okay, 2 crystals down. Okay, so that night they all sit around the campfire. Yeah, so it's like one last time, one final chat where they all sit as a group. I honestly don't know where to put the rest of the crystals on my face. Sorry, I just had to think about what I actually wanted to do. I realized I wanted to use rhinestones, then I didn't even know how I wanted to place them. So I'm gonna just take a gamble. If this turns out terrible, I mean, yeah, let's just buckle up. We're all in this together. So they're all sitting around the campfire and yeah, finally they sort of have the freedom to discuss everything they want to discuss, basically. Nothing's off limits. So they talk about each other's professions and ages. We find out that Sejong is, I believe she's 26. Yes, she's 26 and she is a model. No surprises there because she is gorgeous. They're all shocked that Hanbin is the youngest out of the men at 24. And they're also shocked that Yoonjae is 32 because he looks younger. They all talk about their first impressions. Yoonjae says that he wrote his postcard to Sejong. Jungwoo wrote his to Sulky. We as the audience already knew this, but it was still fun to see their reactions. So I was wondering if they were going to do it differently this time with the final day, with everyone choosing, because in season 1, they got the women to all stand in a different spot on the island, and then the men go up to the women that they want to be with. I guess I thought that because they did it the opposite way at the start of of season 2, as in there were more women than men, I thought they were going to do it the other way around. I thought they were going to get the men to stand in various places on the island, and then the women would go and stand next to the man that they wanted to leave Inferno with. But no, they decided to do it the same as season 1, which is fine. So Hanbin goes first. He greets Zoe on the way to Seyoon where he stops. So yeah, he's following his heart. So good on him. But I also think it was nice that he went up to Zoe as well. Okay, apologies for that. My camera was full, so I just uploaded the files I've recorded already onto my laptop. And so while that was uploading, I decided to finish applying rhinestones, put on some false lashes. And this is one of those instances where it's like, tell me you have absolutely no idea what you're doing without telling me you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. I don't know if this is good or bad. I think I'm leaning towards bad. I don't think I can even give myself an A for effort because at least when you give someone an A for effort, it's obvious that they really tried. This isn't obvious that I tried at all. Also, I was wondering why my false lashes aren't really standing out much, and it's because I realized afterwards that I completely forgot to apply mascara to my lashes first. So I've got false lashes on. They were already natural style lashes that I bought from Daiso. I actually really do like them, but they're not appropriate for this look. So anyway, failure to prepare is preparing to fail, and that's exactly what happened here. So back to what you all came for. A recap of Singles Inferno, the final episode. Next is Jongwoo. I mean, do I even need to say it? He goes to Sulky, doesn't even stop for a breather along the way. He just goes straight to her. He's always been a one-woman man, and today was no different. Then it's Yoonjae. Same thing. He's just been a one-woman man from the start. He goes straight to Seyoon. But he does stop and applaud Zoe for her bravery, which I thought was nice. Next is Sejun. He goes straight to Zoe. He didn't notice that she was standing closest to the fire pit where the boys were, so he didn't have far to walk. Then it's Dongwoo. He hugs Nadine before standing next to Sulky, which I thought was nice. And he says in English to Nadine, "It was nice to meet you." I think that's what he says, so I think it was cool that he said it in English. Finally, it's Jin Young's turn. For a moment, he had us thinking that he was going to choose Nadine. And it made me wonder about what the selection process is. If you were to go on Singles Inferno, like, did the production company make you sign some kind of contract the day before, and get you to write down the name of the girl that you're planning on standing next to, and you have to sign some sort of contract saying that you will go to her? You can't, as you're approaching her, it's not like you can see her with other guys and think, oh, I want to save face, so I'll just go to a girl who doesn't have any men standing next to her, because at least then I have a shot of, like, leaving the islands with somebody. Because Jin Young goes to Nadine first and sort of makes out like, for a moment we think that he's going to choose her, because the way he stands next to her and he stands still and he compliments what she's wearing. He says that she looks nice. So I was thinking, was he originally going to go to Silky? He saw that there are two guys already standing next to her and is like, all right, I've changed my mind, I'm going to go with Nadine. But then that ends up like not being the case, and he continues walking to Silky and he ends up standing there with her. So yeah, just curious. I have a feeling that maybe they do have to sign some kind of contract saying that they have to go to the girl that they plan on going to from the start. They can't change their mind on the day. But still, it'd be interesting to find out what the case is. Okay, now it's for the three women to decide if they choose the man standing next to them to continue seeing outside of the show. And that's probably the worst way to explain it. Basically, they take the hand of the person that they want to, see outside of Inferno. So Sui and Sejun are like chatting for a little bit. Yeah, so Sui says, let's go, and holds out her hand. Sejun takes it. And I think it was just adorable. I'm so happy that she got a happy ending. She ended up, like I said earlier, she ended up becoming my favorite contestant, which was unusual, because I usually pick my favorite contestant right from the start, and they sort of stay my favorite throughout the end. But I don't know, I still like Silky, but I think Zoe has like won my heart. Okay, now it's Seyoon's turn to choose. She's got Hanbin and Yoonjae standing in front of her. Hanbin tells her he supports her decision 100%. I mean, we all know that she's going to pick Yoonjae, but he wanted to be honest with his feelings, so I think we can all commend him for that. She and Yoonjae leave together. Finally, it's Sulky's turn. Dongwoo thanks her for making heart-racing and exciting memories for him. Jin Young says he likes her. Jongwoo asks her if she'd like to grab coffee with him. So it's a nod to the cafe that his family owns, so I thought that was a bit cute. Sulky turns down Dongwoo first, and then she chooses Jongwoo. One of the hosts, Lee Da-hee, the actress, she starts crying. She wanted Sulky to choose him so badly, and I think it's the most emotional we've seen her on both season 1 and season 2. It was just an incredible moment in the studio when you see all the hosts reacting. Okay, now the question everybody wants to know: are the three couples still together? I did hop onto a few websites. Honestly, just the first results I could come up with when I searched. From what we know is very similar to season 1. The couples have all remained very coy on social media, and they probably will remain coy for at least another month or so, I think, because I don't know if it's because it's just the way that they carry themselves, or maybe there could be something to do with an agreement with Netflix. Maybe Netflix might be wanting to attract more viewers to the show, so if they keep it vague, it's gonna, I guess, like, still keep that Singles Inferno fire burning even though the season is over. Does that make sense? Because if you find out right away at the end of watching it that the couples aren't together anymore, if they aren't together anymore, then it's not going to attract more viewers. It's not going to attract people to watch the series again. That's just my opinion. Also, I feel like a lot of the contestants take this time, the month or two post show, during like a cool down period, if you will, where they can take the opportunity to help grow their social media platforms. A lot of them do end up expanding either the current business that they own, or maybe like using social media as an alternate business or an alternate way to earn money. For example, like a few of them did already have YouTube channels before going on Singles Inferno. For example, Ye-won in season 1, she already had a YouTube channel, but her channel just blew up afterwards, of course. Shinjion from season 1. She did not have a YouTube channel before Singles Inferno. Now she is an active YouTuber. Her channel's taken off pretty much from the first couple of videos she's uploaded. Those are the ones that I know of. I'm sure a lot of other, I'm pretty sure like pretty much all of them have their own YouTube channels at this stage. I don't really follow the rest of them. Yeah, so at the moment they're still remaining coy. It's very possible that they're still together because they all still follow each other on Instagram. They're posting like sort of suggestive hints that they could still be together. For example, I think, I can't remember if it was either Christmas or New Year's Eve, but both Youngjae and Seyun posted a blue heart emoji. So they were both matching, you know, because it was sort of like random that you choose a blue heart instead of say red or pink heart. And also it could be a nod to the fact that they were wearing the same shade of blue on that first day that they had a one-on-one chat and they went to Paradise together. Also, Zoe's recently been signed to an agency called Sarin Entertainment. This agency also represents Jung Hoyeon. I'm so sorry if I pronounced her name incorrectly. She's the model turned actress famous for Squid Game. Now to destroy all our hopes and dreams by giving my opinion. My opinion is that none of them are going to stay together because none of the couples from season 1 have stayed together. So, sorry, I went off on a tangent and I realized I haven't even finished my makeup. So let me quickly finish my makeup. I know I've just given my opinion. Or we can talk about other stuff. Maybe I'll ask you guys a question. Would you guys ever go on a show like Singles Inferno? Now, I've never watched Love Island, but for those of you who have watched this as well as Love Island, is it the same concept? Is it a bunch of singles on an island and they just sort of hope for the best? Like, I heard somewhere that there are like certain rules and things in place. Like you pick somebody you like, but then you actually do have the potential to swap partners or to pick somebody else. I'm not fully aware of the concept of that show actually. I definitely would give it a crack if given the opportunity. It just seems incredibly fun. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think any of them will stay together, or do you think it's going to go the same route as series 1 and unfortunately none of them will stay together? Honestly, I do, like, out of the couples that I feel got along the most or had the most chemistry was probably Youngjae and Seyun. I feel like they just had eyes just for each other, pretty much, just, you know, from the get-go. And I kind of liked how Youngjae let her explore, you know, something with Hanbin. I don't know if maybe deep down he knew she was going to choose him over Hanbin, but I thought that was still nice. Now, my Korean geography is not good. I could point out Seoul and Busan, but I couldn't point out any other city. Oh, and Jeju Island, I could probably point that out as well. So from the way they're talking, they don't live in the same area and they're talking about visiting each other. So if they live on complete, like, because I didn't really recognize either city that they said they're from, like they didn't really say if it was Busan or Seoul, or yeah, so I have no idea which major cities their respective cities are near. If they're on opposite sides of the country, then yeah, I'll have to do some more research into which towns they're both from. But if they live on opposite sides of the country, it's gonna make the relationship hard. So this was my recap of Singles Inferno Season 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I've said that like 3 times already. Feel free to make fun of this god-awful makeup look as well while you're down there. I mean, yeah, like let's just roast me in the comments. And I'll be talking to you again in my next recap video, whatever that may be. It'll have to be something different now that I've done part 2 of Singles Inferno. Bye guys.